How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella. Today is going to be part 3 of my slam and brutal death metal collection. And today we got a few interesting things, so let's check it out. First of all, this interesting thing. This is a kind of a freebie that came in a package from CDN Records. Now, who this is a band called Call of Unearthly. There we go. They are a brutal death and black metal band from, where are they from? They're from Poland, and Call of Unearthly released a debut album back in 2012 called Blast Them All Away. They are pretty darn good, if I don't say so myself. I wish I had a proper copy of this, not just the CD here. They started back in 2005, and they have 3 demos prior to this album. It'd be cool to see what else they come out with. But if you want to check them out, they are sort of similar to Horror of Bethlehem, but they definitely have their own flair. Think of Horror of Bethlehem maybe mixed with a little bit of early Behemoth and some like other kind of brutal death metal flair to them. So yeah, highly recommend checking them out. They're not your normal kind of slam and brutal death metal. It's got, like I said, a little bit of a blackened flair to it. Like I said, if you're a fan of Horror of Bethlehem, you should enjoy these guys. Next up is a classic that everyone should know and probably have in their collection if you're watching this video, and that is Cephalotripsy with their 2007 debut album, Uteral Vaginal Insertion of Extirpated Anomalies. That is just one example of how incredibly ludicrous these song and album titles get within the slam and brutal death metal genre and scene. Obviously, these guys are some super brutal slam from California, USA that started in 2003. They have 3 demos and 1 split that I also have on vinyl. If you saw my vinyl collection, you'll know what it is. But they did a split with Membrogenitali Bifurcator. Really good stuff. I wouldn't mind checking out more of Membrogenitali Bifurcator's material, as I probably said in the vinyl video as well. But yeah, so Cephalotripsy's only album. They got back together, I think, recently and started touring, so maybe you'll get that long-awaited second release. Or, I don't know, at least an EP or something would be nice. But, yeah, you should know these guys by now. They're just incredibly brutal, incredibly slammy, incredibly guttural. Every fucking slam band wants a vocalist that sounds like these guys, and I've been asked to sound like these guys before, and I'm like, bruh, I'm not some 300-pound fat guy with a bald head and a beard. I'm not gonna be able to growl like the way the guy in this does. And the funny thing is, he's not even like that. The guitarist is just your typical kind of meaty, skinny metal dude, but it sounds like one of those like monstrous death metal guys. But I'm never gonna be able to sound this good, so kudos to the dude in Cephalotripsy for that. Next is another, I don't know, would you call this classic? I'd say it's pretty classic. It's really good anyways. This is Cerebral Incubation with Asphyxiating on Excrement, their first album from 2009. Now, if you don't know who they are, once again, they're a slam band with some brutal death metal elements that came from Las Vegas, USA, and started in 2006. Besides this, they have 2 other albums. Their second album from 2012 being called Gonorrhea Nodule Mastication, and the third album that was released in 2017 called Bifurcation of Primordial Slamatures. Excellent stuff, maybe even getting semi close to the gore grind side of things here and there, but mostly just brutal death metal and slam, so check them out. Next is one that was kind of rare and I'm surprised that I was able to pick up, but this is Cesspool of Vermin with their debut and kind of only album from 2008 called Bestial Necrophilia. They're also a brutal death metal band, this time from North Carolina, USA, that started in 2006. They are just some really just grimy, brutal, unrelenting fucking death metal. You should eat it up, and a lot of people really do enjoy this. I don't know if I showed the inside, but there we go. Just in case I didn't. Pretty interesting logo too. Like, it's not super duper unreadable, but it's still brutal enough. And it's funny because even on the spine area there, it says only for the brutal. So definitely make sure you know what you're getting into. This stuff is not for the tame. All right, we're going through this like super duper quickly, so let's do a couple more. Next is Circle of Dead Children. That's a really weird name, but the guy that made up this name had a vision of a child from every country dead because of probably political or war or just disgusting reasons, in a circle with a flag kind of behind them representing each country. And that kind of imagery that he thought of made the band name. So that's where it kind of came from. He just kind of thought of that imagery one day and just like, hey, that would be good for the band name. Anywho, Circle of Dead Children are a kind of brutal death metal and grindcore band from Pennsylvania, USA, that started in 1998. This is their second album from 2001, Genocide Machine, or The Genocide Machine. They are a really strange kind of brutal death metal band, because once again, they had some kind of like grindcore elements in there, some really low tuned guitars and some interesting drums. The vocals are really low as well, and I don't think they're pitch shifted or tampered with in any sort of way like that, but the guy that performs them must have like the world's largest neck. So yeah, check these guys out. They also have an album, their first album, sorry, was called Starving the Vultures, which is probably the most like well-known one, which was in 1999. Besides that, they also have 3 other albums, 1 EP and 1 demo, 5 albums in total. And if you're wondering what they sound like, they kind of sound similar to Cattle Decapitation, Pig Destroyer, and Pencil Lead Syringe. So there you go. There's a bit of an example of kind of who you might be looking to get an idea of what they sound like. Apparently, this also has some video footage for your computer, so you know how old this is when CDs included extra bonus footage for your computer. So yeah, that's Circle of Dead Children with the second album in 2001 called Genocide Machine. Pretty interesting stuff if you like brutal death metal and you want to hear a little bit of like spicing up of the genre a bit. Then the last thing I guess we're going to show today is a band called Colposcopy. This is their only debut album called Ready for Gore. That is just demonetization fuel right there. Holy mackerel. So yeah, Ready for Gore is, once again, a slam band from California, USA. So, you know, if they wanted, they could probably tour with Cephalotripsy. That'd be awesome. And they started in 2009. They have a demo in 2010 prior to this, and they have an EP after this in 2015 called Reanimation of Enigmatic Abominations. If that isn't a mouthful, I don't know what is. And these guys, besides being a slightly lower volume release, because I definitely remember having to turn this up quite a bit, are just amazing when it comes to creativity and just chuggy, memorable riffs. It's just such good, groovy style of slam and brutal death metal. You definitely are doing yourself a disservice by not checking this out. So obviously, highly recommend this band. The only album, unfortunately, by Colposcopy, Ready for Gore. Hopefully they come out with a new one soon, because if it's just anywhere as near as good as this, we're in for a treat. So yeah, highly recommend you checking out Colposcopy, Ready for Gore. Anywho, that's it. That's all I have for this update. Hopefully you saw something interesting. Maybe you saw something new, and I highly recommend you checking out all these bands if you are into slam or brutal death metal. Today's shirt is Halloween Safety, a Sitter's Guide. So there you go. You got Laurie Strode and the Tommy kid? No. I don't know. I don't remember what the kid's name is. But yeah, pretty cool. Got this at the Pickering Spirit of Halloween shop. Anywho, hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next update. For glory, for the Rebel Alliance, Slammerella out.